The first thing I heard after dying was my mother laughing. Not crying. Not screaming. Laughing. That was the last sound I remembered before darkness took me. Ethan is finally getting what he deserves. That was my mother's voice. My own mother. The woman who held my hand when I was sick as a child. The woman who told me family was everything. The woman who watched my brother bury me alive. I remembered the weight of the soil. The pressure against my chest. The panic. The impossible realization that my own brother had planned my death. And the worst part? He did not even look guilty. He looked relieved. "Don't worry, Mom," my brother Lucas said. "I'll take care of everything." Everything. That was always his favorite word. My inheritance. My company shares. My house. My future. My life. Everything. Then my mother said the sentence that broke whatever remained of my heart. "Your brother was always too lucky." A pause. Then, "Now you finally have everything." That was the last thing I heard. Not an apology. Not regret. Just celebration. Then I died. And then I woke up. The ceiling above me was white. The room smelled like cheap coffee. A television played quietly in the background. I sat up. My heart stopped. Because I knew this room. I knew this apartment. I knew the calendar hanging beside the refrigerator. April 16th. I walked to the mirror. The man looking back was younger. 32 years old. Not 46. No gray hair. No scars. No exhausted eyes. My hand started shaking. Because I knew exactly what day it was. Lottery day. The day everything changed. The day I bought a ticket at the gas station near my office. The day I almost threw it away. The day that ticket won $180 million. The day my family discovered I had finally become valuable. And the day that started the chain of events that ended with my death. I stood there for a long time. Then I laughed. Not because I was happy. Because life had given me something impossible. A second chance. But this time, I knew the ending. And I was going to change it. In my previous life, I bought the ticket after work. I was exhausted. My company had just lost a major contract. My brother Lucas had failed again at his own business. My parents had spent years telling me, "Help your brother." So I did. I paid his debts. Covered his rent. Introduced him to investors. Every time he failed, I rescued him. Every time he succeeded slightly, my parents said, "See? Lucas just needed support." Nobody ever said, "Ethan sacrificed everything for him." Until the lottery. That night, I checked the numbers. I remember staring at the screen. 6 numbers. Every one matched. I was holding the winning ticket. At first, I thought about disappearing. Buying a small house somewhere. Starting over. But then my mother called. She sounded worried. "Ethan, are you home?" "Yes. Your brother needs help." I laughed. Because of course he did. "What happened?" "His company is in trouble. Again." I almost ignored the call. Almost. Then my mother said, "He's your brother." Those 4 words controlled me my entire life. "He's your brother." So I told them. I made the mistake of telling them. Within 3 days, everyone knew. Lucas cried. My mother cried. My father hugged me. They told me, "We are family." 6 months later, Lucas convinced me to invest in his company. A company that was already collapsing. I refused. That was the first time I said no. And that was when everything changed. My brother stopped seeing me as family. He started seeing me as an obstacle. He learned my lawyer was preparing a trust. He learned I planned to donate most of my money instead of giving him control. And he decided I was worth more dead than alive. The police called it an accident. A hiking accident. My brother convinced everyone I had fallen. But I remembered his hands. I remembered the rope. I remembered him whispering, "Sorry, Ethan." Not because he regretted it. Because he knew I would never forgive him. This time, I already knew. And I was going to enjoy watching him fail. My phone rang. I looked at the screen. Lucas. I almost smiled. The man who killed me. The man who would soon beg me for money. I answered. "Hey, Ethan." His voice was exactly the same. Friendly. Warm. Fake. "Lucas. You sound tired." "I just woke up." "Busy day?" I looked at the calendar. April 16th. Lottery day. "Yes." He laughed. Still working too hard? There it was. The same tone. The same superiority. The same belief that I existed to serve him. I have a question. Sure. Do you believe some people are just lucky? He laughed. What kind of question is that? Answer. He thought for a second. Of course. Some people are born lucky. I smiled. You believe that? Absolutely. Good. Why? Nothing. I looked out the window. The city was the same. But I was not. See you later, Lucas. Tonight? Yes. Because tonight was when everything started. The gas station. The ticket. The moment my brother's future changed. Except this time. I would not hide my luck. I would not protect him. I would not be the idiot who handed him my life. I was going to give him exactly what he wanted. The winning ticket. The money. The attention. The dream. And then I would watch him destroy himself with it. At 7:30 p.m., I walked into the gas station. The same one. The same cashier. The same lottery machine. I bought 2 tickets. One losing ticket. One winning ticket. I stared at the winning ticket in my hand. In my previous life, this piece of paper became the reason my family killed me. This time, it would become the reason they destroyed themselves. I folded it carefully. Then I bought a cheap envelope. On the front, I wrote, "For Lucas." The cashier looked at me. "Gift?" I smiled. "Something like that." At 8:15 p.m., my family arrived. My mother brought food. My father brought wine. Lucas brought his fake smile. Exactly like before. Except this time. I knew every line before they spoke. My mother hugged me. "My son." I almost moved away. Almost. But I let her. Because I wanted to see how far they would go. Dinner started. Small talk. Work. Weather. Family. Then Lucas leaned forward. "You know, Ethan." "Yes? I've been thinking." "Dangerous." "What about?" "My company." "Of course. There's a huge opportunity." I nodded. "Really?" "Yes." He smiled. "And I think this time, I can finally make it work." "The first time," I said. "I'll help." "This time," I said. "That's great." He waited. That was not enough. "You believe me?" "Yes." His eyes brightened. Then I added. "I think everyone deserves the chance to prove themselves." The smile disappeared for half a second. He heard it. The difference. Not support. Not rescue. A chance. A chance he could fail. Then my mother interrupted. "Your brother has always been talented." I looked at her. "Yes. He just needed the right opportunity." I nodded. "You're right." They relaxed. They thought I was returning to the old Ethan. They were wrong. Because 5 minutes later, I placed the envelope on the table. Lucas looked at it. "What's this?" "A gift." He laughed. "For me?" "Yes." My mother smiled. "What is it?" I looked at Lucas. "The man who would kill me for this. The thing that changes your life." He opened it. Pulled out the ticket. His face froze. Then he looked at me. "What is this?" I smiled. "The winning lottery ticket." Silence. Nobody moved. Then Lucas started laughing. Not nervous laughter. Not disbelief. Greedy laughter. "You're serious?" "Yes." My mother grabbed my arm. "Ethan. I want Lucas to have it." Lucas stared at me. "You're giving me $180 million? "Yes." He stood. He hugged me. The same man whose hands would one day bury me. Now holding me like his favorite brother. "You're amazing." I smiled. I know. That surprised him. Because the old Ethan never said that. Then I whispered. "Enjoy it." He pulled back. "What?" I looked into his eyes. "Enjoy every second." Because I knew something he didn't. The ticket was real. The money was real. But the person receiving it was about to reveal everything. And this time, I would not die before watching the truth come out. Lucas did not sleep that night. I knew because he sent me 17 messages before sunrise. The old Ethan would have smiled at those messages. He would have felt loved. After all, his younger brother had never been this excited about anything I gave him. This Ethan knew better. Lucas was not excited because he loved me. He was excited because he had finally found something he could take. The first message arrived at 11:42 p.m. "Brother, I still can't believe what happened today. The second came 3 minutes later. You really changed my life. The third. I promise I won't waste this chance. That one almost made me laugh. Because I remembered the last time he said those exact words. Not about money. About his company. About his debts. About every mistake he made. Lucas always promised he had learned. He never learned. He simply found new people willing to pay for his lessons. I placed my phone face down. Then I opened my laptop. The first thing I did after waking up was not check the lottery numbers. I already knew them. The first thing I did was check the date. April 17th. The day after I gave Lucas the ticket. The day my previous life began its final countdown. Because after Lucas confirmed the ticket was real, everything changed. His personality changed. His friends changed. His confidence changed. And most importantly, his view of me changed. I was no longer his brother. I was the person who had willingly handed him $180 million. A person who could be manipulated again. Except this time, I had no intention of being useful. In my previous life, Lucas claimed the prize within 3 days. The first person he called was not me. It was my father. The second was my mother. The third was a private wealth manager. I found out later that he immediately started planning. A mansion. A luxury car collection. A new company. A group of friends who suddenly remembered his birthday. Within 2 months, he spent nearly $20 million. And when I warned him, he laughed. You worry too much, Ethan. That was Lucas's favorite sentence. You worry too much. When I checked his investment documents. When I questioned his business partners. When I asked why he was buying things he couldn't maintain. I was always the negative one. Then, when the money started disappearing, he blamed me. You should have helped me manage it. That was Lucas. Everything good was because of him. Everything bad was because someone else failed him. This time, I wanted to see how quickly he would reveal himself. At 8 a.m., I arrived at my office. My company occupied 3 floors of a downtown building. Not huge. Not famous. But profitable. I built it from nothing. 10 years of contracts. 10 years of missed vacations. 10 years of sleeping beside my laptop. This was the part my family never understood. They saw the money. They never saw the years before it. My assistant, Claire Morgan, looked up when I entered. Mr. Carter? Yes? She smiled. You're early. I have a lot to do. She handed me the morning schedule. Your brother called 3 times. I stopped. Already? She nodded. He said it was urgent. Of course. The ticket was real. The world had changed. And Lucas needed something. What did he say? He wanted to discuss a business opportunity. I almost smiled. Of course he did. Not. How are you? Not. Thank you. Not. How can I repay you? Business opportunity. That was Lucas's language. Taking. Expanding. Using. Tell him I'm busy. Claire hesitated. Should I schedule him later? No. She looked surprised. No? No. I put the documents down. Tell him I'm unavailable today. Claire nodded slowly. That was the first time she saw the difference. The old Ethan never refused Lucas. Not once. At 9:15, my mother called. I answered. Mom. Ethan. Her voice sounded different. Excited. Almost younger. Did you sleep? A little. She laughed. I don't think any of us slept. Of course. They were counting money. I wanted to talk to you. About? Your brother. Naturally. How happy he is. I'm glad. He kept saying you're the best brother in the world. I looked out my office window. That sentence would have destroyed me once. Now, it was just information. He said that? Yes. Interesting. My mother paused. What does that mean? Nothing. Ethan, don't be strange. Strange. Another word people used when you stopped behaving the way they expected. I'm not. You gave him an incredible gift. Yes. You must feel proud. Proud. That word bothered me. Because my family always used it when they wanted me to accept losing something. Proud of sacrificing. Proud of helping. Proud of being responsible. I am happy he has an opportunity. That's my son. She sounded relieved. Then. Since he has this opportunity, maybe you two can work together. There it was. The real reason for the call. I leaned back. Work together? Yes. On what? His company. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it happened exactly like before. The same conversation. The same timing. The same assumption. Only one thing changed. I knew the ending. Mom. Yes? Do you remember what you always told me? What? You said people need to learn to stand on their own. Silence. A small silence. But I heard it. She remembered. Because that sentence was something she only used when talking about me. Never Lucas. Ethan, your brother is different. There it was. The sentence I expected. How? He just needs support. I smiled. Does he? Yes. Why? Because he has never had your opportunities. I looked around my office. My company. My achievements. My life. And suddenly everything became clear. They did not hate that Lucas needed help. They hated that I stopped giving it. I understand. You do? Yes. Good. I understand exactly. Another pause. Then my mother said, I knew you would. I ended the call. At noon, Lucas arrived. Without an appointment. Of course. He walked into my office wearing a designer jacket he definitely could not afford yet. The old Lucas. Just richer. Brother. He opened his arms. I stood. But I did not hug him. Only shook his hand. The change was small. He noticed. People like Lucas noticed small things. Because they were always measuring control. You're different. I smiled. Am I? Maybe tired. Maybe. He sat down. No invitation. Another old habit. I wanted to talk about the ticket. Okay. He smiled. I know you said it's mine. Yes. And I appreciate that. Good. A thank you. 1. Then. But honestly, I think you should help me manage it. There it was. Day 2. Faster than before. Help you? You know money better. No. He laughed. Come on. I mean no. His smile faded slightly. What? I'm not managing your money. Why? Because it's yours. But you gave it to me. Yes. So you care about what happens. I care. Then help. I looked at him. The old Ethan would have explained. Would have apologized. Would have eventually agreed. This Ethan asked. Lucas. Yes? What would you have done if I never won the lottery? He frowned. What kind of question is that? Answer. He thought. I don't know. Exactly. I stood. You would have continued your life. That's unfair. Is it? He became quiet. You're my brother. Yes. Then why are you acting like a stranger? Because I know you killed me. Because I remember your hands. Because I remember the dirt. Because I know exactly what you become when you believe nobody can stop you. Instead I said. Because I'm respecting your choice. My choice? Yes. You chose to accept the ticket. His face changed. For the first time, he felt something. Not guilt. Fear. A tiny bit. Because he realized the gift had conditions he never considered. Not legal conditions. Emotional ones. You regret giving it to me? No. Then what? I smiled. I'm curious. About what? How long it takes. What? How long it takes before you stop seeing this as a gift. He stared. I continued. And start seeing it as something you deserve. The room went quiet. Lucas stood. You're being weird. There it was. Again. The word. Weird. When people lose control, they call the other person strange. I think you should leave. He stared at me. You're serious? Yes. For the first time in my life. I watched Lucas leave without getting what he wanted. And it felt strangely peaceful. That evening, the lottery company confirmed the ticket publicly. The winner's name was released. Lucas Carter. The media arrived. My brother became famous overnight. Interviews. Photos. Articles. Local man wins $180 million jackpot. My phone exploded. Friends. Former colleagues. People who had ignored Lucas for years. Suddenly everyone loved him. Exactly like before. But this time, I watched. I did not envy him. I did not regret giving him the ticket. Because money was never the thing that destroyed my family. Money only revealed what was already there. At 11:30 p.m., Lucas posted his first public statement. A photo of him holding the winning ticket. The caption. My life finally begins. I looked at the screen. Then smiled. Because he was right. His life was beginning. And so was mine. The difference? He thought the ticket was his victory. I knew it was his test. And he had already started failing. The first mistake Lucas made was believing money changed who people were. It did not. It only removed the limits. A selfish person with no money had fewer opportunities to hurt people. A selfish person with $180 million had options. And Lucas loved options. Within 2 weeks of receiving the lottery money, he became a different person. At least, that was what everyone else thought. I knew better. He was not different. He was finally able to show who he had always been. The first headline appeared on a Monday morning. Lottery winner Lucas Carter purchases historic estate outside the city. The article showed him standing beside a mansion with 20 bedrooms, a private theater, and a swimming pool larger than the apartment building where we grew up. My mother sent me the article. No message. Just the link. I stared at it for several seconds. Then I closed it. The old Ethan would have felt hurt. Not because Lucas bought a house. Because Lucas bought a house without calling me. Without saying, "Brother, look what we did." The old Ethan wanted recognition. This Ethan understood. Lucas did not want a brother. He wanted an audience. A week later, my father called. That was unusual. My father rarely called me directly. He believed emotions were inefficient. Everything with him was business. Even family. "Ethan. Dad. How are things?" "Fine." A pause. "You've seen what your brother has accomplished." Not a question. A statement. "Yes. He's making investments." "Good. You sound strange." "I'm happy for him." "Are you?" There it was. My father had always been better at reading people than my mother. But he made the same mistake. He thought understanding someone meant controlling them. I gave him the ticket. "Yes. So why wouldn't I be happy?" Silence. Then. "Because you are worried." "About what?" "About him." I almost smiled. Because that was the one thing my father always got wrong. He thought I was worried because Lucas might fail. I was worried because Lucas would succeed long enough to become dangerous. I think everyone should be responsible for their own decisions. My father became quiet. "That sounds unlike you." "Maybe. That was the point. People change." "Yes." A strange note entered his voice. Almost disappointment. "You used to understand family responsibility." "I still do." "Then why are you distancing yourself?" "Because I remembered dying. Because I remembered my mother saying my death solved their problems. Because I knew my family only loved the version of me that sacrificed." Instead. "I'm not distancing myself." "Then what are you doing?" "I'm giving Lucas what everyone wanted." "What?" "Independence." My father did not answer. Because he knew. And maybe, for the first time, he realized independence meant Lucas could no longer use me as a safety net. Lucas's spending accelerated. The mansion. The cars. The parties. The new company. The first investment was called Carter Horizon Holdings. A name chosen before he understood what the company would actually do. That was Lucas. Brand first. Substance later. I watched from a distance. Not because I enjoyed it. Because I needed evidence. In my previous life, I made one mistake. I attacked too early. When Lucas started spending recklessly, I confronted him. I told my parents. I warned investors. Everyone thought I was jealous. This time, I waited. People reveal themselves when nobody interrupts them. Within 3 months, Lucas built a team around him. Most were not professionals. They were people who told him what he wanted to hear. His college roommate. A nightclub owner. A social media consultant. A former salesman with no investment background. The only qualified person was his financial advisor. A woman named Victoria Hayes. And I noticed something interesting. Victoria disagreed with him. Often. That made her different. One afternoon, I saw her leaving his office. Her expression was frustrated. 2 hours later, Lucas called me. "Brother." "Yes?" "You should come to dinner." "Why?" "I want to show you something." "What?" "My company." Interesting. The old Lucas never invited me after success. Only after failure. I accepted. Not because I wanted to support him. Because I wanted to know why Victoria looked worried. The restaurant was expensive. Of course. Lucas arrived 20 minutes late. Not because he was busy. Because he enjoyed making people wait. Another old habit. He hugged me. Brother. Lucas. You look the same. You don't. He laughed. Money changes things. No. I looked at him. People change. For half a second, his smile disappeared. Then he laughed again. You're funny now. We sat. He ordered the most expensive items without looking at the menu. Then he leaned back. I'm building something huge. Good. You don't believe me. I didn't say that. You don't need to. I waited. He loved explaining himself. I bought a technology company. Which one? Nova Edge Systems. I recognized the name. Small software company. Not profitable. But with strong engineers. Why? Because technology is the future. That was not an answer. What does the company do? He paused. Software solutions. Generic. I nodded. Interesting. You think I'm making a mistake. I think you should listen to your advisors. I do. Victoria? His expression changed. You know her? I know she's smart. He looked annoyed. You like her? No. Then why mention her? Because she seems like the only person around you who disagrees with you. That irritated him. People disagree with me because they don't understand my vision. There it was. The sentence every failed entrepreneur loved. Not wrong. Misunderstood. Maybe. He looked at me. You're different. Yes. Why? I took a sip of water. Because before, I thought helping you meant protecting you from mistakes. And now? Now I think mistakes are how people learn. He laughed. You're really not going to help me. No. The answer came easily. Too easily. He noticed. You really changed. Yes. How? I looked at him. Someone taught me. Who? I thought about the dirt. The darkness. His voice. Sorry, Ethan. Instead. Life. 3 days later, Victoria contacted me. That surprised me. We had never spoken before. Mr. Carter? Yes. My name is Victoria Hayes. I know. A pause. You know? My brother speaks highly of you. That was not true. He complained about her constantly. But I wanted to hear her. I need to ask something. Okay. Why did you give Lucas the ticket? The question caught me. Not because it was impossible. Because it was perceptive. Why do you ask? Because I have reviewed his financial behavior. And? He has no discipline. Correct. He ignores risk. Yes. He refuses advice. Yes. So why would someone who knows him best hand him $180 million? I looked out the window. Because I wanted him to destroy himself. Because I wanted the world to see him. Because I wanted justice. But I could not tell her that. Not yet. Because I wanted to know who he really was. Silence. Victoria understood more than I expected. That's a dangerous answer. Why? Because sometimes people become worse when they have everything. I smiled. Exactly. She was quiet. Then. Mr. Carter. Yes? I think your brother is planning something. What? A public acquisition. Of what? My company. Nova Edge Systems. Interesting. Why? He thinks owning a technology company will prove he belongs among serious investors. And? He doesn't understand the company. What happens if he buys it? Victoria sighed. The engineers leave. Can you stop him? Not alone. I leaned back. Why tell me? Because you're the only person he listens to. I almost laughed. No. What? He listens to what he wants. Victoria was silent. Then maybe you're the only person he can't manipulate. That was the first time someone said it. Not because I was stronger. Because I had nothing left to lose. The next morning, I received a notification. Carter Horizon Holdings had submitted an acquisition offer for Nova Edge Systems. The offer was terrible. Overpriced. Aggressive. Emotionally driven. Exactly what Lucas would do. The old Ethan would have rushed in. Saved him. Negotiated. Fixed the mistake. This time, I did nothing. I watched. Because the ticket had already done its job. It gave Lucas everything he wanted. Money. Power. Respect. Now all that remained was seeing what he did with it. And 3 months after receiving $180 million, my brother was about to spend half of it trying to prove he was something he was not. He thought the lottery made him untouchable. He forgot one thing. Money could buy companies. It could buy houses. It could buy people who called him a genius. But it could not buy the one thing he never had. The ability to become better. Lucas announced the acquisition on a Friday morning. Of course he did. He loved Fridays. He believed people paid less attention before the weekend. That was something I learned about him over the years. Lucas did not just want success. He wanted the appearance of success. The announcement appeared everywhere. Carter Horizon Holdings expands into technology sector with major acquisition. His picture was beside the article. Perfect suit. Perfect smile. Perfect confidence. The article described him as a young visionary investor. I almost laughed when I read that. Not because he was young. Not because he was ambitious. Because he had convinced people that spending money was the same as creating value. The acquisition price? $96 million. The actual value of Nova Edge Systems? Maybe $40 million. The difference was not strategy. It was ego. Lucas did not buy the company because he understood technology. He bought it because he wanted people to look at him and say, he built something. But building something and purchasing something were not the same. That lesson was going to cost him. 3 days after the announcement, Victoria called me again. He signed. I was sitting in my office. I know. You knew? Everyone knows. No. Her voice was serious. I mean, you knew he would do this. I looked at the documents on my desk. Yes. How? Because I watched him do it before. Not this exact company. Not this exact mistake. But the pattern. Lucas always followed the same path. Someone warned him. He felt challenged. He doubled down. Then he blamed everyone else. Because Lucas has never been afraid of failure. Victoria was silent. That sounds like a compliment. It isn't. What is it? He's afraid of admitting he was wrong. That was the difference. Smart people changed direction when facts changed. Lucas changed facts when direction became inconvenient. The first month after acquisition looked successful. That was the dangerous part. Bad decisions often look brilliant at the beginning. Lucas hosted a launch event. Invited investors. Invited media. Invited people who had never cared about him before. He stood on stage. Behind him was the Nova Edge logo. Our mission is to bring innovation to the next level. Empty words. But people loved empty words when they came with expensive lighting. My mother sent me pictures. She was proud. Look at your brother. I stared at the photo. Lucas standing on stage. My parents in the front row. Everyone smiling. Everyone celebrating. The same family that once depended on me. The same family that would one day watch me die. But something was different. I was not angry. That surprised me. I thought revenge would feel powerful. It didn't. It felt quiet. Because revenge was not making Lucas suffer. Revenge was watching him finally become responsible for himself. 2 months after the acquisition, the first problem appeared. The engineers resigned. Not all. Enough. 5 senior developers. Then the head of product. Then the security director. Lucas called an emergency meeting. His solution? Replace them. With cheaper employees. I read the internal report. Then smiled. Exactly. The people who created the value were leaving. Because Lucas thought the company was the building. The logo. The contracts. He did not understand that companies were people. The same mistake he made with family. He thought ownership meant control. It didn't. A week later, Lucas called me. I almost did not answer. Then I did. Brother. Lucas. You heard about the resignations. Yes. They're being dramatic. Interesting. Not concerned. Annoyed. Why? Because I paid them well. That doesn't mean they trust your leadership. Silence. You're taking their side? No. Then whose side are you on? I smiled. The old question. Everyone wanted me to choose sides. Family. Company. Brother. Investor. But nobody asked the real question. Who is responsible? I'm on the side of reality. He laughed. You sound like Dad. That was ironic. My father spent years teaching me to be practical. But he never applied those lessons to Lucas. What do you need? I want you to join the company. There it was. Exactly. The moment everything repeated. In my previous life, this was where I stepped in. I fixed Lucas's problems. I rebuilt his company. I saved him. Then when the money became difficult to control, he saw me as competition. This time. No. The silence lasted 5 seconds. Maybe 10. Excuse me? No. You're serious? Yes. You're my brother. Yes. Then why won't you help me? Because I already did. I gave you the one thing you wanted. A chance. Instead. Because this is your company. I bought it because of you. No. I corrected him. You bought it because you wanted people to see you differently. His breathing changed. You think I'm a joke? No. Then what? I think you're trying to become someone instead of becoming better. That was too close. He became angry. You're jealous. There it was. The easiest weapon. Jealousy. Whenever someone refused to support Lucas, he assumed they were threatened. I gave you $180 million. So? The answer came instantly. So? Yes. I leaned back. Nothing. Because that word explained everything. Lucas truly believed the money erased every obligation. He did not see the gift. He saw his entitlement. I hope you succeed, Lucas. You don't mean that. I do. Then help me. No. His voice became cold. Remember this conversation. I smiled. I will. Because I remembered another one. The one before he killed me. That evening, my father called. Not Lucas. Me. You refused him. Yes. You know he's struggling. Yes. Then why? I looked at the city lights. Because nobody saved me. Silence. My father did not understand. Ethan. No. My voice stayed calm. For years, every time Lucas made a mistake, I paid the price. That's family. No. I interrupted. That's enabling. The word hung there. My father became quiet. Because he knew. Maybe not everything. But enough. Your brother needs you. No. He's your family. I smiled sadly. That's what you said when I needed him. Silence. A long silence. Then my father whispered. What does that mean? I almost told him. About the mountain. The rope. The dirt. The last moments. But not yet. They needed to experience the truth slowly. Like I did. I think you should ask Lucas. Ask him what? Why he always needs me to fix things. I ended the call. 3 months after Lucas bought Nova Edge Systems, the company's stock value collapsed. Not completely. But enough. Investors started asking questions. Why were executives leaving? Why were costs increasing? Why was the new CEO making decisions without technical understanding? The media changed quickly. The same people who called him visionary now called him inexperienced. Lucas hated it. Because attention was supposed to work one way. Praise. Never criticism. Then came the call I expected. Not from Lucas. From my mother. She sounded angry. Ethan, your brother needs help. I closed my eyes. Of course. Not. Lucas made mistakes. Not. Lucas ignored advice. Needs help. The same phrase. The same cycle. What happened? He has problems with investors. Okay. You need to talk to him. No. She froze. You're refusing? Yes. After everything he did for you? I almost laughed. Everything he did for me. That was new. What exactly did he do? She became quiet. He accepted your gift. There it was. Not earned. Accepted. A gift. The ticket. The money. The chance. I whispered. Mom. Yes? Do you know what Lucas told me after I gave him the ticket? What? He said his life was finally beginning. That's wonderful. No. I looked at the documents showing his collapsing company. He thought my sacrifice was the beginning of his life. Silence. But he never asked if it was the end of mine. My mother did not answer. Because for the first time, she heard the sentence she had spent years avoiding. My life mattered too. That night, Lucas sent me a message. Not a call. A message. You wanted me to fail. I stared at it. Then another appeared. You gave me the ticket knowing this would happen. Interesting. The person who demanded responsibility was now searching for someone else to blame. I replied. No. A minute later. Then why didn't you stop me? I looked at the screen. The answer was simple. Because if I stopped you, you would always believe I was the reason you failed. But if I let you choose, You would finally have to face yourself. I typed. Because you wanted to prove you could do it alone. No response. Then. You're not my brother anymore. I read the sentence. The same man who had killed me once. The same man who took my life. And now he was angry because I would not give him another one. I put the phone down. For the first time since I woke up on lottery day, I felt free. Because Lucas finally understood something. The ticket was never my greatest gift. The greatest gift was the chance to see who he became when nobody saved him. And now everyone else was about to see it too. The first time Lucas failed, he blamed circumstances. The second time, he blamed employees. The third time, he blamed investors. But when those excuses stopped working, he blamed me. That was the moment I knew he had reached the same place as my previous life. The place where he stopped seeing me as family. And started seeing me as an obstacle. The difference? This time, I was ready. 2 weeks after Lucas sent me that message, he arrived at my office. He did not call. He did not make an appointment. He simply walked in. Just like he did when we were younger. Lucas always believed doors opened for him. Sometimes because people liked him. Sometimes because they were afraid of disappointing him. This time, my assistant stopped him. Mr. Carter is in a meeting. Lucas looked annoyed. I'm his brother. Claire did not move. I understand. Then let me in. I'm sorry. He asked not to be disturbed. That sentence alone would have shocked me in my previous life. Someone refusing Lucas. Someone protecting my time. Someone treating me like I mattered. I heard voices outside. Then Lucas entered anyway. Claire followed. I'm sorry, Mr. Carter. It's okay. I looked at Lucas. Sit. He did. But unlike before, he did not look confident. He looked desperate. That was new. What happened? He stared at me. You know what happened. No. You're enjoying this. I leaned back. Enjoying what? My company falling apart. I almost smiled. Because that was such a Lucas sentence. Not. My decisions caused problems. Not. I ignored advice. Not. I made mistakes. You are enjoying my pain. You think I caused your company problems? You knew what would happen. I knew you were making risky decisions. So you admit it. What? You knew. I nodded. Yes. His face hardened. And you let me. There it was. The sentence he had been building toward. I let him. Not he chose. Not he failed. I let him. Lucas. What? Did I force you to buy Nova Edge? No. Did I force you to ignore Victoria? No. Did I force you to replace engineers? No. Then what exactly did I do? He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Because the answer was uncomfortable. I did nothing. For the first time in his life, nobody had interfered. And he hated it. You're my brother. Yes. You gave me the ticket. Yes. So you have responsibility. I looked at him. No. His expression changed. No. No. You gave me $180 million. Yes. And now you're saying you have no responsibility? Yes. He laughed bitterly. I can't believe you. I know. You're the one who always helped me. Yes. Then why stop now? Because the old Ethan died. But not yet. Not to him. I stopped because helping you became hurting you. He frowned. What? Every time I fixed your problems, you learned nothing. That's not true. Isn't it? Silence. You didn't become better because I helped. I looked at him. You became dependent. That word hurt. Because it was true. Lucas stood. You think you're better than me? No. Yes, you do. No. I shook my head. I think I wasted too many years trying to prove you were capable. He froze. What does that mean? It means I spent more time believing in you than you spent believing in yourself. His anger disappeared for a moment. Only for a moment. Then it returned. You're selfish. I almost laughed. Selfish. The word I never expected to hear. Not after giving him $180 million. But maybe that was the point. To someone who believed they deserved everything, anything less than everything felt like betrayal. Maybe. He looked surprised. You admit it? Yes. Wow. I should have been selfish earlier. That made him quiet. Because he knew. A younger brother who always received help hated when the helper stopped. That evening, something unexpected happened. Victoria called. Your brother came to my office. What did he want? To buy the remaining shares. I frowned. He already owns the company. He wants full control. Why? She sighed. Because he thinks employees are the problem. Of course. When? Today. Did you agree? No. Good. Silence. Then she said. He threatened me. I sat up. What kind of threat? He said he could make sure I never worked in this industry again. That was different. Not business. Personal. Did he say that because you refused? Yes. I closed my eyes. The pattern. When Lucas could not control the situation, he attacked the person who challenged him. Exactly what happened before. Except before, the person was me. The next morning, I received a legal notice. From Lucas. I read it twice. Then laughed. He was suing me. The claim? That I had intentionally transferred the lottery ticket while hiding relevant information about financial risks. I stared at the document. The irony was almost impressive. He was trying to sue me because the money I gave him was causing problems. Lydia Hayes, my attorney, reviewed it. Not Victoria. A different Lydia. I had hired her after waking up. One of the best decisions of my second life. She looked at the lawsuit. Then looked at me. Your brother filed this? Yes. Why? He thinks I owe him more. She sighed. Did you sign anything when transferring the ticket? No. Gift declaration? Yes. Did you make any promises about future support? No. Did you advise him to invest? No. Did you control any of his decisions? No. She closed the file. This lawsuit is weak. I know. Then why do you look worried? I looked out the window. Because this is what happened before. She looked at me. Before? I paused. I had to be careful. Before he became successful. What happened? He stopped seeing me as family. She studied me. Mr. Carter. Yes? Are you afraid of him? The question surprised me. Because the answer was complicated. I was not afraid he could hurt me financially. I was not afraid he could beat me. I was afraid because I knew what happened when Lucas believed he had no way out. I remembered the mountain. The rope. The dirt. I answered honestly. I'm afraid of what he does when he thinks losing is impossible. Lydia became serious. Then we prepare. Exactly. This time, I was not waiting until after the crime. 3 days later, my parents arrived at my office. Together. That was rare. They sat across from me. My mother looked angry. My father looked disappointed. A familiar combination. Ethan. Dad. This has gone too far. What has? Your brother. Interesting. Finally. His lawsuit? Yes. Then tell him to withdraw it. My mother looked shocked. You expect us to take your side? I stared at her. My side? Yes. I almost smiled. That was the question. Not. Who is right? Who is wrong? Which son do we protect? I don't need you to take my side. Then what? I need you to stop protecting his choices. My father looked away. My mother became defensive. He is struggling. Yes. And you can help. No. Ethan. No. The room went silent. The old Ethan would have apologized. This Ethan did not. I gave him everything. My mother whispered. You gave him a ticket. No. I looked at her. I gave him a chance. She froze. And he used that chance to become someone who thinks everyone owes him. My father sighed. Your brother is under pressure. So was I. Silence. That sentence finally reached them. Because they always knew Lucas was under pressure. They never asked how much pressure I carried. That night, Lucas made his biggest mistake. He contacted the media. The headline appeared the next morning. Lottery winner claims brother misled him about $180 million gift. I read it calmly. The old Ethan would have panicked. This Ethan waited. Because Lucas had just done something I needed. He moved the fight into public. And public fights required evidence. Not emotions. I opened the folder I had prepared months ago. The folder containing every message where Lucas thanked me. Every recording where he confirmed he understood the gift. Every document showing his independent financial decisions. Every warning from Victoria. Every refusal from him to accept advice. Everything. The first time, I had no chance. Because I trusted family more than evidence. This time, I trusted evidence more than family. I looked at Lucas's statement. Then smiled. He wanted the world to believe I abandoned him. Fine. Now the world would see something else. The man who received everything. And still believed he had been cheated. He hated me. Lucas expected the media to support him. That was his first mistake. He believed the public would see the same thing my family always saw. A struggling younger brother. A successful older brother. A conflict. A misunderstanding. He forgot one thing. The public did not know Lucas. They only knew the evidence. And evidence did not care who cried louder. Within 48 hours of Lucas's interview, the story changed. At first, people sympathized with him. The headlines were emotional. Lottery winner claims family betrayal after sudden financial collapse. Brother accused of abandoning millionaire after giving him winning ticket. Lucas loved those headlines. He posted them everywhere. He believed attention meant victory. Then my attorney released the first response. Not an attack. Not an emotional statement. Just documents. The gift transfer agreement. The signed declaration. Lucas's written confirmation that he received the ticket voluntarily. His messages from the first night. You changed my life. I'll never forget what you did for me. You're the best brother anyone could ask for. The public reaction changed immediately. Because there was a difference between a person saying, I was betrayed, and a person proving, I was betrayed. Lucas had only one. I had the other. 3 days later, Lucas appeared on a television interview. I watched it from my office. My assistant Claire stood beside the screen. You don't seem worried. I'm not. He's accusing you of manipulating him. I know. He says you knew he was inexperienced. I did. She looked at me. Then? I knew he was inexperienced. I never knew he was incapable. That was the difference. A person could lack experience. They could learn. But Lucas did not want guidance. He wanted control without responsibility. The interviewer asked, Lucas, your brother gave you a $180 million winning ticket. Why do you believe he wronged you? Lucas looked sad. Perfectly practiced. Because he knew I trusted him. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because that sentence was true. Lucas trusted me. But not the way brothers should trust each other. He trusted me to save him. The interviewer continued. Did Ethan ever promise to help you manage the money? No. That answer surprised even the interviewer. Then what was the agreement? Lucas hesitated. I thought family meant he would be there. There it was. The real argument. Not legal. Emotional. He believed my gift came with a lifetime obligation. And that was the one thing he could not prove. The next day, my mother called. I almost ignored it. But I answered. Ethan. Mom. Why are you doing this? The question surprised me. Doing what? Making your brother look bad. I closed my eyes. That sentence told me everything. Not. Why did Lucas sue you? Not. Why did he lie? Why are you making him look bad? Mom. Yes? Did you watch the interview? Yes. Did you watch mine? I don't need to. Exactly. She had already chosen. She always did. I released documents. You embarrassed him. No. You did. Mom. I kept my voice calm. I defended myself. He's your brother. That sentence again. The sentence that controlled my first life. This time, it had no power. I know. Then why? Because I'm his brother. Silence. What? Because I'm his brother, I spent my entire life protecting him from consequences. My voice lowered. And look what happened. She said nothing. I didn't save him. I looked at Lucas's interview playing silently. I delayed the moment he had to become responsible. The lawsuit moved forward. And then came discovery. The part Lucas did not expect. His own records became evidence. Financial statements. Investment decisions. Internal company emails. Advisor reports. Everything. Victoria provided documents. Not because she hated Lucas. Because she cared about the truth. One email became especially important. Sent 2 months before the Nova Edge acquisition. Victoria wrote. The proposed purchase price is significantly above market value. I recommend delaying until financial review is complete. Lucas replied. I don't need more opinions. I need people who believe in me. I read that line several times. Because it perfectly described him. He did not want advisors. He wanted supporters. He did not want truth. He wanted approval. Then came the most damaging evidence. A conversation between Lucas and his financial advisor. Recorded legally during an investment meeting. Lucas said, "If Ethan hadn't given me this money, I would still be invisible." The advisor replied, "You mean you feel overlooked?" Lucas answered, "No." A pause. Then, "I mean I finally have something he can't take from me." That sentence changed everything. Because suddenly people understood. This was never about the money. It was about me. Lucas had spent his entire life comparing himself to me. The lottery ticket did not create his resentment. It gave it power. The court hearing began 6 months after the lawsuit. Lucas entered confidently. New suit. New watch. Same attitude. He still believed he could win. That surprised me. But then I remembered. Lucas had spent his whole life escaping consequences. Why would he believe this time was different? The judge reviewed the evidence. The opposing attorney asked me, "Mr. Carter, why did you give your brother the ticket?" I answered, "Because I believed he deserved a chance." "Did you believe he would manage the money successfully?" "I believed he could learn." "Did you control his decisions afterward?" "No." "Did you advise against some decisions?" "Yes." "Did he follow your advice?" "No." The attorney nodded. No further questions. Then Lucas's attorney stood. "Mr. Carter, you admit you knew your brother lacked financial experience?" "Yes." "And you still gave him $180 million? "Yes." "Knowing the risk?" "Yes." The courtroom became quiet. This was their strongest argument. They wanted me to sound guilty. Like I had created the situation. The attorney smiled. "So you knew he could fail?" I looked at him. "Yes." "And you still gave him the ticket?" "Yes." "Why?" I paused. Because this was the truth. Because failing is not the same as being incapable. The attorney frowned. I continued. "My brother did not fail because he lacked experience." I looked toward Lucas. "He failed because he refused to accept responsibility." Silence. The judge watched carefully. The attorney tried again. "You are blaming him." "No." "Then what are you doing?" "Explaining." "For the record, Mr. Carter, are you saying your brother's problems are his own fault?" "Yes." "And not yours?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because I remembered dying. Because I remembered how this ended. Because I knew what happened when nobody allowed Lucas to fail." I answered. "Because responsibility is the one thing nobody can inherit." The courtroom became silent. Even Lucas looked away. The judge's decision came 2 weeks later. The lawsuit was dismissed. The court found the lottery ticket was a voluntary gift. Lucas accepted ownership without conditions. Ethan made no contractual promise of future financial support. Lucas's investment decisions were made independently. The ruling was simple. The money belonged to Lucas. So did the consequences. That last sentence was not written by the judge. But everyone understood it. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. Because after losing the lawsuit, Lucas did something I had not expected. He disappeared. No interviews. No posts. No attacks. For 3 days, nothing. Then Victoria called me. Her voice was serious. "Ethan. What happened?" "Lucas came to see me." "Why?" "He asked for help." I waited. "That's good." "No." Her voice changed. "He didn't ask because he realized he was wrong." "Then why?" "He asked because he's angry." "At you?" "At everyone." I looked out the window. "Where is he now?" "I don't know." A strange feeling moved through me. Not fear. Recognition. Because I knew Lucas. When he lost control, he searched for someone to blame. And when he ran out of people, he always returned to the person he believed caused everything. Me. That night, I received one message. From Lucas. Only 5 words. "You should have died that day." I stared at the screen. The room became silent. Because those words confirmed what I already knew. The lottery ticket was never the reason my brother killed me. It was only the beginning. And this time, he had just admitted the truth. I did not respond to Lucas's message. Not immediately. The old Ethan would have. He would have demanded answers. He would have asked. "Why? How could you? Was any of it real?" But the old Ethan was dead. Literally. And the man who woke up on lottery day understood something important. Some people reveal the truth when they are angry. You just have to let them keep talking. So I saved the message. Then I sent it to Lydia. Not my family. Not the police. Not the media. My lawyer. Because this time, I would not make the mistake of treating a crime like a family problem. Lydia called me 15 minutes later. You received this from your brother? Yes. Did you reply? No. Good. She was quiet for a moment. Ethan. Yes? Is there something you haven't told me? The question was fair. I had spent months preparing. Documents. Evidence. Financial records. Everything except the one thing I could never explain. That I had already lived through this. That I remembered dying. That I knew exactly what Lucas was capable of. I could not tell her that. So I told her the truth I could prove. He has threatened me before. When? Not directly. Explain. I looked at the message. He has always blamed me when his life goes wrong. That's different from a death threat. I know. Then why are you concerned? Because I remembered his hands. Because I remembered his voice. Because I remembered the dirt covering my face. I answered. Because Lucas does not handle losing well. Lydia became silent. Then. Do you have security? No. Get some. I don't think he'll. Ethan. Her voice became firm. You just told me your brother sent a message saying you should have died. I stopped. She was right. The first life taught me one thing. Never underestimate the person who already crossed the line. The next morning, the police contacted me. Not because Lucas had been arrested. Because the message had triggered a review. The detective assigned to the case was named Daniel Brooks. He sat across from me in my office. Calm. Professional. Mr. Carter, I want to be clear. Okay. We are not assuming your brother committed a crime. I understand. We are documenting the threat. Understood. He looked at his notes. Have you ever feared your brother physically? I hesitated. Yes. When? I looked down. This was the hardest part. The truth of my fear came from something that had not happened yet. I can't explain it logically. That's okay. I just know something changed after he received the money. The detective studied me. Money changed him? No. What then? I looked at him. Power. That answer seemed to interest him. How? Before, Lucas wanted help. And now? Now he believes people owe him. 3 days later, the investigation uncovered something unexpected. Lucas had not just lost money. He had lost control. After the lawsuit failed, several investors withdrew. Nova Edge Systems was collapsing. The company he bought for $96 million was now worth less than $20 million. Employees were leaving. Creditors were calling. And Lucas was angry. Not scared. Angry. That distinction mattered. People who are scared ask, how do I fix this? People who are angry ask, who caused this? Lucas chose the second. Then Victoria gave investigators the information that changed everything. A hidden recording. Not made by her. By Lucas himself. He had recorded meetings because he wanted proof that his advisors failed him. Instead, he recorded himself. In the audio, Lucas spoke to his friend Marcus. The same friend who encouraged him to buy Nova Edge. Marcus said, Lucas, you need to slow down. Lucas answered, no. You lost a lot already. I lost because Ethan wanted me to fail. Marcus was quiet. Then, your brother gave you the money. Lucas replied. That was the problem. The investigator paused the recording there. I listened again. That was the problem. Not the company. Not the investment. Me. Marcus asked. What are you talking about? Lucas said. Do you know what it's like growing up next to him? He's your brother. That's what everyone says. A pause. Everything was always Ethan. He was smarter. He worked harder. People trusted him. And then he gave me the ticket. Marcus laughed. Isn't that a good thing? No. Lucas's voice changed. Because after that, everyone saw me as the guy who got lucky. Silence. Then. I finally had something equal to him. Marcus asked. And he still looked at me like I was a child. I closed my eyes. Because that was the tragedy. I never looked at him that way. But he believed I did. Lucas continued. He always thought he was saving me. Marcus asked. Wasn't he? A long pause. Then Lucas answered. I hated him for making me need him. The recording ended. That was the moment I understood. The lottery ticket did not create Lucas's hatred. It exposed it. In his mind, my kindness was an insult. My help was humiliation. My success was an accusation. He did not hate me because I hurt him. He hated me because my existence reminded him of everything he refused to become. The police reopened the old investigation. Not publicly. Not yet. Because a statement about wanting someone dead was not enough to prove murder. But there were questions. The hiking accident. The missing equipment report. The insurance payout. The timeline. Things that had never seemed important before. Things that suddenly mattered. And then they found the first mistake. The rope. In the original investigation, the damaged climbing rope was recorded as evidence. But it was never tested. Because everyone believed it was an accident. Now it was tested. The result came back 3 days later. The rope had been cut. Not worn. Not damaged. Cut. The detective came to my office. He placed the report on the table. "Mr. Carter." I looked at him. "Your brother needs a lawyer." I did not celebrate. I did not smile. I did not feel victorious. Because this was the moment I imagined every day after waking up. The moment Lucas would finally face consequences. But when it arrived, it felt empty. Because I already knew. I already died once. No arrest could undo that. No sentence could give me back the years I lost. The detective asked, "Are you okay?" I looked at the report. Then answered, "Yes." "Really?" "Yes." "Why?" Because I finally understood something. The goal was never making Lucas suffer. The goal was making sure he could never hurt me again. I spent my first life trying to save my brother. I looked up. This life, I'm letting the truth save me. Lucas was arrested 2 days later. The media exploded. The same people who once called him a visionary now called him a suspect. The same people who praised his success now questioned everything. My family disappeared from public view. No interviews. No statements. No explanations. Only silence. Then my mother called. I almost did not answer. But I did. "Ethan." Her voice was broken. Not angry. Broken. "They arrested Lucas." "Yes. Is it true?" I closed my eyes. The question hurt more than I expected. Because she still needed confirmation. Even now. After everything. Yes. Silence. Then. I didn't know. I believed her. That was the painful part. She probably did not know. But she also never wanted to know. Because knowing would mean admitting she protected the wrong person. "Mom." "Yes? Do you remember what you told me after I won?" "What?" "You said Lucas finally had everything." Her breathing changed. "He did." "No." I looked outside. "He had everything when I gave it to him." A pause. "But he wanted one more thing." "What?" "To prove he was better than me." My mother started crying. "I'm sorry." The words came 20 years too late. But they still mattered. Not enough to fix. Enough to acknowledge. "I know. Can you forgive me?" I thought about it. Forgiveness. The same word Serena used. The same word everyone wanted. But forgiveness was not returning to the past. "I forgive you." She cried harder. "But I can't go back." "I know." That was the first honest conversation we ever had. Because for once, nobody was pretending. The trial date was set. The evidence was overwhelming. The lottery. The lawsuit. The threat. The recording. The rope. Everything connected. Lucas had spent his entire life blaming me for his failures. Then he spent his final mistake trying to remove the person he blamed. But this time, he made one mistake. He left evidence. Because he forgot something. The old Ethan trusted family. The new Ethan trusted facts. And facts do not forgive. They do not hate. They simply remain. The trial began 9 months after Lucas was arrested. By then, the world had changed. The lottery winner who once appeared on magazine covers had become a defendant. The man everyone called lucky had become the center of a criminal investigation. But strangely, I felt no satisfaction. I expected revenge to feel different. I expected the moment Lucas finally faced the truth to feel like winning. It didn't. Because I learned something important. Winning was not seeing your enemy fall. Winning was no longer needing them to fall. The prosecution built the case carefully. They did not focus on the lottery. They did not focus on the money. They did not focus on jealousy. They focused on choices. That was what mattered. The prosecutor said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this case is not about a family argument. It is not about money. It is about a man who believed another person's existence was the reason he could not become who he wanted to be." Lucas sat beside his attorney. For the first time in my life, I saw him unable to control the room. No charm. No smile. No excuses. Just a man waiting for someone else to decide his future. The evidence was presented. The recorded conversations. The financial records. The threats. The rope analysis. Every piece showed the same pattern. Lucas did not suddenly become dangerous. He became dangerous when he believed consequences were unfair. That was always his weakness. He could accept winning. He could not accept losing. The defense tried another approach. They argued emotional instability, pressure, financial stress, the sudden change from ordinary life to extreme wealth. The attorney said, "My client made mistakes under impossible circumstances." I listened. Because part of me understood. Winning $180 million overnight would change anyone. But then I remembered. Money did not create Lucas. It revealed him. Millions of people received unexpected wealth. They helped family. They donated. They learned. They changed. Lucas chose blame. Then came my testimony. I had imagined that moment many times. The first life. The mountain. The darkness. The betrayal. But standing there, I realized something. I did not want the court to know how much Lucas hurt me. I wanted them to know what he did. There was a difference. The prosecutor asked, "Mr. Carter, why did you give your brother the winning ticket?" I looked at Lucas. For a second, I saw the boy he used to be. The kid who followed me everywhere. The kid who cried when he lost a baseball game. The kid who once told me, "When I grow up, I want to be like you." Then that memory disappeared. Because people changed. And sometimes they changed in ways you could not follow. I gave it to him because I believed he deserved a chance. Did you expect anything in return? No. Did you control his money? No. Did you ask for ownership? No. Did you threaten him? No. The prosecutor nodded. Why not? I thought about it. Because a gift stops being a gift when you use it as control. The courtroom became quiet. The prosecutor continued. "Mr. Carter, did you ever want your brother to fail?" I answered honestly. Yes. People looked surprised. The prosecutor waited. Explain. After everything happened, yes. Why? Because I wanted him to finally understand consequences. Did you cause his failures? No. Did you sabotage him? No. Did you prevent him from succeeding? No. I looked at the jury. I simply stopped saving him. The defense attorney stood. "Mr. Carter, you admit you were disappointed in your brother?" Yes. You admit you knew he struggled with responsibility? Yes. You admit you gave him a fortune anyway? Yes. So isn't it possible that your own decision contributed to what happened? The question was expected. And it was fair. I answered. My decision gave him an opportunity. The attorney nodded. And that opportunity ended badly. Yes. So? I looked at him. An opportunity does not force someone to make bad choices. Silence. Millions of people receive second chances. I continued. Not everyone uses them the same way. The attorney had no response. The jury reached a decision after 3 hours. Guilty. Lucas showed no emotion. Not anger. Not sadness. Nothing. But as the guards approached, he looked at me. For a moment, I thought he would say something. An apology. An explanation. Anything. Instead, he asked, "Do you think you won?" The courtroom became silent. I looked at my brother. The man who killed me. The man who almost destroyed my second life too. And I answered. No. His eyes narrowed. Then why are you smiling? Because I finally understood. I won the day I stopped needing you to admit what you did. For the first time. Lucas had no answer. My parents visited me afterward. Not together. Separately. My father came first. He looked older. Much older. I failed both of you. I did not disagree. Because he had. But I also knew guilt was not the same as change. I spent my whole life teaching you to be responsible. He looked down. But I never taught Lucas that actions had consequences. I nodded. That was the difference. My father looked at me. Can you forgive me? I thought about it. Yes. He looked surprised. But I can't pretend nothing happened. I know. That was enough. My mother came 3 days later. She cried before she even sat down. I should have protected you. I looked at her. Yes. The honesty hurt. But it was necessary. She wiped her eyes. I loved you. I know. Then why didn't you believe me? Because love without action had limits. But I did not say it to hurt her. I said, because every time Lucas needed something, you chose his pain over mine. She nodded. I know. That was the first time she admitted it. No excuses. No defense. Just truth. And sometimes truth was the only apology people could give. 1 year later, I stood in the same gas station where everything started. The same lights. The same lottery machine. The same counter. The cashier recognized me. You're the guy. I smiled. Apparently. He laughed. Still buying tickets? I looked at the machine. The first time, that ticket changed my life. It brought money. Betrayal. Death. A second chance. I shook my head. No. Why? I smiled. Because I already won. He looked confused. But that was okay. He did not need to understand. The world thought the winning ticket was the reason I survived. It wasn't. The ticket only exposed the truth. The real victory was waking up with a chance to choose differently. I chose not to save someone who wanted me gone. I chose evidence over emotion. I chose myself. Years later, people still asked me the same question. Do you regret giving Lucas the ticket? I always answered the same way. No. They were surprised. They expected anger. They expected bitterness. But the ticket taught me something. Sometimes the thing that destroys your life is also the thing that reveals what your life was missing. I spent my first life trying to earn love by sacrificing. I spent my second life learning that love without respect is not love. Family is not the person who shares your blood. Family is the person who chooses you when choosing you costs something. Lucas had a choice. He chose money. My parents had choices. Sometimes they chose wrong. And I had a choice too. I could spend the rest of my life waiting for them to understand my pain. Or I could build a life where their understanding no longer mattered. I chose the second. The lottery ticket was worth $180 million. But the second chance? That was priceless. Because the first time I held the winning ticket, I thought I had finally become lucky. The second time I opened my eyes, I realized I already was. I was alive. And this time, my life belonged to me. That's all for today. Remember to subscribe and support us.